Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Thursday. Today is Things to Think on Thursday, and Things to Think on Thursday is actually going to cover a little bit of Self-Care Wednesday since I kind of accidentally flipped the days, right? It just happened. But let's pull some of our cards to start with. Tomorrow, as you know, is Oracle Friday, so it'll be the card pulls and just a fun Friday going into the weekend. Maybe you'll get something you need to hear. Maybe you'll get an answer. Don't know. However it works out for you. So anyways, again, let's just pull some of these and then we'll jump right into the strategies for emotional self-care. Good morning, T. So, wow. Holy moly, guys. There's a lot of cards coming out. Alrighty. Whew, I better get started. Good thing I started this on time. Let's see here. That is a lot. Seriously. Needy. Just kidding. Anyways, alright. I'm just mixing these up a little since I saw some of them that were flipped over. Alright, let's get going. So, love a person the way they need to be loved, not the way you want to love them. Love is selfless, not selfish. I actually got through that one. How about that? By T. Gaskins. Again, love a person the way they need to be loved, not the way you want to love them. Love is selfless, not selfish. All right. Number 2. Do you need to view the situation through different lenses? It's a perspective. So do you need to view the situation through different lenses? Perspective. Whenever we're not sure, good morning, older sibling, how things are going, or, if we're angry about something, or if we're upset about something, or we feel like we've been wronged, or we feel like, we don't need to apologize. If you're still not sure and it's still lingering in your head, it's a possibility that something is trying to tell you. Put yourself in the person's shoes that you were upset with and try to understand where they're coming from. I struggle with that sometimes, but as I grow personally, I'm getting a lot better at that. So again, sometimes you need to view the situation through different lenses to really kind of see the truth that lies within there. Good morning, baby sibling. Have a problem. It's so funny that she popped on right as this card was coming out. Have a problem? Punch it in the face. Have a problem? Punch it in the face. No, not literally, but take your power back. But I like that. Punch it in the face. Okay. So, got a problem? Just be yourself no matter what others might think of you. Be true to you and speak your truth. See, she thought that was funny because, But just be yourself no matter what others might think of you. Be true to you and speak your truth. Be like Luna. Luna from Harry Potter. She did not care what other people thought about her. I love her. She's like a hero. Okay. Chill time. Don't be hasty. Do not rush to judgment. If there is an issue, take a deep breath, try to focus, take a step back, and try to view the situation from out here so that you're not all mixed in with your energy in there. All right? It's time to make a decision. This one, I think, came up the other day. So if you still have not made that decision, weigh the options, right? View the situation through different lenses. It's perspective. Let's see. It isn't always about winning or losing, but how you play the game. All right? I suppose if you really think about it, you don't really lose. I mean, unless it's an actual game, you don't really lose. You just learn how to get better, right? It's a lesson. So here's the summer card again. I don't know who needs to see this, but here's the summer card again. So maybe it's a validation card, right? Because a lot of times at least schools out here, summertime is a time when schools are out, everybody's free. See where I'm going there? Freedom. Maybe it's a validation that whatever it is that you were trying to move past, you have moved past. The doggy again. Don't forget to have fun, be playful, and be attentive. I love this dog. I just love that dog. I saw a real life version of this last week when I was out driving. One of my favorites, love yourself. Hashtag self-love. Love yourself. I know it can be hard to do that, but don't give up on you, okay? You are the most important thing in your entire life because you is what spreads you around to everybody else. All right. So let's see. Take a deep breath before making any decisions, but coffee first. Yes, baby sibling, I do know you definitely needed that. So that's why I thought it was funny that it popped up right as you were popping on. So, but first, coffee. Okay. So take a deep breath before making any decisions. Master of chill. Slow down. What you don't finish today will still be there tomorrow. Breathe and relax. So if something just comes at you out of the blue and you're like, great, just one more thing to handle. Just remember, everything that you woke up to this morning will still be there tomorrow or will still be there later in today. Prioritize. Prioritize whatever it is that you need to get done now. Get it done now. Okay, put it first. Let it finish. Fall or autumn. No idea. I'm not getting anything on this one. So if this one means something to you, I'm literally not. Not seasons, not validation, not anything. It's a very pretty leaf. Maybe it's change, right? Transformation. Maybe not necessarily fall, okay? But look at the leaf. This is the time when the seasons are changing, the leaves are changing, they're falling off and getting ready to start, the cycle of losing their leaves and going into kind of that cocoon state, right? And then you get through winter where everything starts to get planted and everything, and then springtime, poof, where everything starts to grow again. So maybe this is a transformation card, all right? This is one of my favorites. Hang around people who bring you joy and value what you bring to the table. Hang around people who bring you joy and value what you bring to the table. I just love the sloth and the panda and the donuts. They're so cute. And you don't need wings to fly. It'd be fun, but you don't need wings to fly. And what that means is stop trying to think that there's always something that you're missing before you start doing something. Just do it. That actually might be good advice for me because I'm terrible at that. But, all right. So we got those. So, emotional self-care. This is the stuff that we didn't do yesterday. Older sibling said, but first coffee should be a law. So, in some households, I'm sure it is. But first coffee, because nothing happens before the first cup of coffee. And I will tell you, this is true with her, okay? So a lot of you know that older sibling and I are also roommates, okay? So it's so funny because I actually sleep with my door closed. So, anything can be happening outside of my room. I'll hear nothing. All right. But when I wake up in the morning, she sleeps with the door open because all the kitties sleep with her. And the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of times I'm so afraid of waking her up, right? But the funny part about her is it really feels like her day does not start until coffee. She's not a human until coffee. She's just like a zombie. And she'll kind of go through her routine. She'll go through her motions. If something does make a noise, I'll be like, okay. But it could be, maybe she's had a rough night and her pain was flaring, so she doesn't get out of bed till like noon. And that's rare. Okay, that's rare. But the reason I'm bringing that up is the funny part about it is she will go downstairs, even if it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, have coffee, and then the day starts. I truly think she gets that from her mom. Mom Barbara, when she was in labor with older sibling, made older sibling's father. Okay, so Laura and I are obviously not related. We are best friends. She is my roommate, but she is like an older sister to me that I absolutely adore. And yeah, see, she said it just like my mom. I couldn't be born without coffee. And that's the funny thing. That's the story I'm going to share. On the way to the hospital, Barbara made Roy stop to get coffee and a donut. Was there a donut involved, sibling? Because you love donuts. But she couldn't be born without coffee. So, and she was born at night. So there you go. Because her parents were musicians. They were well-known jazz musicians. So, so there's a little bit of background on older siblings. So I love sharing that story because it makes me laugh so hard because in my mind, coffee and donuts is like the morning, right? And I always think, wait, you were born at night? It's like, no, nighttime is like my parents' morning, because, they're musicians. So actually, she was born during work hours. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty funny. She could, like, literally, she could not be born without coffee. So it is a natural thing for her. The world does not start until coffee. Okay, it could be midnight. It could be 10:53 in the evening. And if she's just rolling out of bed, poof, coffee. She was born at 8:16 p.m. So there you have it. There you have it. We're both night babies. I was born late. I was born at almost 11 in the evening. So anyway, not that anybody knows. That's just kind of random thought that fell out of my head. Older sibling said her dad was panicked. I can imagine that. I mean, can you imagine that? Okay, I've never been in a car with a couple as the one of them's giving birth. Can you imagine a person's significant other saying, I'm not going to the hospital or getting out of this car until I have a coffee and a donut? And I'm telling you, that was how Mom Barbara thought. No donut, no coffee, no movement. This baby is not coming out of me until I've had what I want. So, and she got it. Look what she created. A coffee monster. So, but you know what? I love coffee, so I guess it's not a bad way to come into the world, right? So anyway, strategies for emotional self-care. I got this from Iowa's Area Education Agency. Okay, it was called the IAEA website. And I just thought it was, that's the website is Iowa's, well, I think you have to Google the name. I think it might actually be IAEA.com or something. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I cannot remember the link. But just, if you want to look it up, because it was very informative. It was Iowa's Area Education Agencies, plural. Okay, agencies. And I was just actually Googling stuff for emotional self-care because, we know a lot of things that we can do for physical self-care. We can do, you can go get your mani-pedis, you can go for a walk, you can go for a bike ride, you can go sit in the sun, you can go for a swim, you can go for a run. There's a million things you can do physically. You can get a massage, go hang out with friends. These are a lot of good physical ways of taking care of yourself. The going out with friends part might actually be good for also your emotional self-care. But I mean, we're talking about things that are actually physical that you can do to take care of your self-care. Just take a mental health day, chill and Netflix, right? Just, where you just kind of quiet your mind. This is the emotional stuff. All right. This is how we can kind of protect our boundaries, protect, just ourselves from that negative harshness that the world sometimes throws at us, right? So the first one was know your feelings. Allow yourself to feel and experience emotions. Many problems arise from trying to avoid them and repressing them. We have talked about this on The Perspective so many times from the beginning. Okay? And, this perspective has been going on for about 1.5 years now. And it still ceases to amaze me that stuff keeps coming up and out of me to heal. The last bit, I truly feel like the last bit of it came out last night. Okay? But it's been over a month, right? Since I did that whole let's come full circle thing. And, and then my friend pointed out that I was going round and round and round. And then her and I, like I said, we talked about that. But they were repressed feelings. And unfortunately, with repressed feelings, it's kind of like saying, oh, you know what? I'll deal with that later. And then 2 days later, you remember, oh, crap, I forgot to do that. Or you think, oh, crap, I forgot to do something, but what was it? For me, repressing something slowly becomes such a part of who I am that I actually forget what it was about. But now it's in this soul system, right? Not the solar system, the soul system. And it's just floating around in there trying to figure out, what am I doing here? Why do I belong here? I don't belong here. I belong out there, healed and gone away from this person so they don't have to deal with it anymore. So a lot of times, what is the saying we always say on here? You know, you have to feel it to heal it, and you have to go through it to grow through it. If you do not feel it and you do not go through it, it is not going to heal itself, and you are not going to grow. You might grow around it, but it's kind of like those trees, right? So that's not a bad thing if you grow around it, but it is possible that it still will come up and out. And I think that's where the big disconnect for me was a long time ago, is that I repressed all these things, but I found ways to grow around them. Only problem is the tree wasn't growing straight up anymore. It was kind of growing to the side, going this way, going that way. And, you know, a lot of times when that happens, sometimes, you know, if you're not growing straight up, sometimes you get in the way, you cause blockages, and people may actually cut you down. You know, I mean, if you're a tree, which is sad because I love unique trees. I really do. But that's a whole other subject. But that's probably not the best metaphor I've ever used. But because, I mean, the way nature grows is so unique in itself. So that there are obstacles, and we are going to have obstacles in our life, and we are going to find a way to grow around them. But the thing is when you repress something, when you push it down and say, I don't want to deal with this anymore, I don't want to live with this. If that's how you feel about it, you have to let it come up and out. Because if you do not, from personal experience and from knowing other people who have been through the same thing, it is going to find a way up. And it is going to find a way out. And it can be bad. You might take it out on people that you don't mean to take it out on, which of course just piles onto the guilt you're feeling after you realize what you've just done, right? So if you're not comfortable doing it by yourself, please, 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 please get professional help. There is no shame in it. Like we talked about the other day, there are places online, there are apps you can use, there are people you can see through your own insurance if you want to. Excuse me. Excuse me. See, someone's trying to hold that one in. There are, yeah, see, it almost worked because I almost lost my train of thought. But here it is. If you need professional help, seek it. There is no shame in it. Nobody has to know. You know, if that's your thing and you're afraid of what other people might think about you, nobody has to know. All right? I am out there because I want to help people. But not everybody is like me. But I still want you to get the help that you need. So, like I said, there are apps. If you live in the United States, there's that commercial for, I think it's called Better Helpline or something like that. On my website, shellbellinthemoment.com, there's a whole page of links of people you can just call in a jiffy if you are not feeling all that great in here. Okay, you're feeling a little teetering on the edge. Repressed memories can do that too. They can push you right over the edge. I have been there. I have seen both sides. It is not fun. And I found for me personally, the best way to move past these things is to face it head on. Is to just say, you know what? All right, let's go. Let's throw down. Because I'm tired of fighting you. I'm tired of dealing with this. And basically what it is, you're fighting your own mind. You're fighting your own brain. So understand your emotional triggers. That's number 2. As you become more aware of your emotions, you will notice patterns. These are triggers. This will come with the healing. But here's the interesting thing. This will come with the healing, but if you really pay attention to the patterns that they're talking about in here, you will find that these are probably things you've already done. These are things that have always triggered you. Except now you understand why they are triggering you. So don't be afraid of this process. Yes, it is scary. Okay, yes, it is not for the faint of heart sometimes. It depends on what you were trying to heal. You know, for myself, it was like, oh my God, it felt like a roller coaster sometimes, or like one of those tilt-a-whirl rides, which I actually love, but it felt nonstop, or like those rides that spin you around but also flip you upside down. Baby sibling made me go on one of those when she was a little kid. I'm still recovering from that ride, but this part of the healing, and a lot of this is actually based on shadow work, I think, in my personal opinion. A lot of this feels like it's based on the shadow work that we've talked about, especially during Self-Love December. Understand your emotional triggers. As you become more aware of your emotions, the patterns will start to show. And again, you will notice that when they start to show, they're probably, like I just mentioned, things that you have already been dealing with before. So don't be afraid of the triggers, okay? Because now you're seeing what it is. Now you were able to put like a face to a name, right? And now you were able to say, okay, how do I heal this so it doesn't trigger me anymore? There was a time when I was so in the thick of my healing that sometimes older sibling would put on a TV show. Like I'd come home from work, I walk in, she's right in the middle of a TV show, like a talk show, and I didn't want to interrupt because, I'm just kind of walking in the middle of what she's watching. And it would be like adults now who suffered trauma as children. And I would literally go right. Sometimes, in the beginning, I would just be like, okay, no, I have to go to my room. I can't watch this. I can't handle it. But slowly, as I began to heal and I started to realize that these were triggers and I started to learn what a trigger was, or that triggers actually exist, I actually can sit down now and watch these things because they don't hurt me anymore. It doesn't jog the memory. It doesn't bring up bad feelings. It doesn't bring up these repressed memories. And sometimes I just don't want to watch them because it's like, well, why does this keep happening? But on an emotional level, it's more of when I watch them now, I have that compassion. I have that empathy for somebody, as opposed to, I can't watch this because it hurts. It's going to make me cry. It's going to send me in a mental tizzy, So again, pay attention to your triggers. Do not be afraid of them. Try to embrace them so that you can heal them. Okay. Number 3, understand your emotional needs. The biggest struggle for self-care is giving yourself permission to put yourself first. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. God, this should actually, sometimes I feel like this should be number 1, because how many times do we have to talk about serving from an empty cup? Some people do not prioritize their self-care. This is why no matter what I talk about, Monday through Thursday, because again, like we know, Oracle Friday is Friday. No matter what subject comes up Monday through Thursday, I always make sure that Self-Care Wednesday gets dealt with. We kind of did a different version of Self-Care Wednesday, which probably could have been more of a things to think on Thursday. So in this respect, we flipped it. Okay, so it's like Self-Care Thursday today. And I think on the heels of everything we talked about yesterday, this is kind of the perfect subject for today. Because, a lot of things that we talked about yesterday is how we just kind of let things go by the wayside, how we listen too much to what society expects from us, or what our people expect from us, or what somebody thinks they should be like. I was just on Twitter about 10 minutes ago, or right before I started this, so about half an hour ago. Sorry, I lost track of time. And there was a person on there that said, sometimes I'm afraid, I'm summing it up because I can't remember exactly what the tweet said. But I'm summing it up to where they were talking about how when they're just themselves, people will look at them and say, are you always like this? Which, I'm assuming that's the tone it's coming out in, like, are you always like this? And after they posed that question in the middle of their tweet, they said, this is why sometimes I'm afraid to be myself. I replied with, I used to be the same way. I still struggle with what people might think about me a little bit, but for the most part, I don't care. Because here's the thing, some people might be judging you because of their inability to be their authentic self. Okay, I know that's not the word everybody likes. Some people like to say their genuine self, whatever word you choose, that is you being you. Sometimes people, I don't want to use jealousy or envy because I'm not really sure that those would really fit. But sometimes I think people project because they have an unanswered thought inside of their head about why can't I be more like this person. So instead, they just kind of fit into what society says they should fit into. And then they're never truly themselves, which isn't fair, right? People, if you are a good person and you mean well, just be yourself. Okay? Just be yourself. And by that I mean, because I literally was watching true crime shows last night. Don't listen to that voice. That is a bad voice. But I know this is how my brain works sometimes. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is understand your emotional needs. Again, the biggest struggle the biggest struggle for self-care is giving yourself permission to put yourself first. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. We talked about this in a way yesterday too, when we talked about allowing yourself to shine. Sometimes you're going to have to put yourself first. That doesn't mean put yourself first all the time, right? I mean, not everybody's comfortable with that. Some people are like, oh, I should always come first. No, everybody should come along with you. But sometimes you need to put yourself first. If you are the person that sits there and tries to hold everybody up and you're wondering why your arms are getting weak, it's because you have to put the weight down. You have to take care of yourself. If you are buckling under pressure, if your mind is buckling under pressure, if your mental status is buckling under pressure, it is time to take a step back and take care of yourself. You cannot shine your light on people if your wick is dying out. Okay? And the wick runs on fuel. It runs on that oil, right? There's no lantern in the world that does not run on something. A candle, a battery, kerosene, or, whatever kind of lamp oil there are, and the wick, right? I mean, even like I just said with the batteries, even the ones that are, even the ones that are solar powered, they still need to take time to recharge their inner battery, right? They need the sun. And for people in your life, you may be the sun they need. And if you're not shining brightly because you can't handle anymore, then all the people that you do want to help, are also going to feel the effects of what you're going through. Or the people that you're trying to shine your light on. And that's not to make you feel guilty, okay? What you need to understand is that if you can't shine your light, it's also affecting you. It can affect your mental health. It can make you feel like, oh God, I want to do this, that, and the other for all these people, but I've just got nothing left in the tank. That is when you should be taking care of yourselves. But do not get to the point where you literally feel like you were crawling across the desert looking for the water, looking for that little area of water. Take care of yourselves before you get to that point. Try to dedicate at least a part of some day during your week that is just for you. If you have kids, try to make it at night. Maybe while you're in the shower, maybe while you're taking a bath, maybe while you're laying in bed and it's super quiet. Just take time to just take a few breaths, take some, just take care of yourself. And then, like I said, there's the physical things too. You can make yourself tea, massage, go for a walk, go for a bike ride, whatever makes you happy. Go to the gym, all these different things. Whatever makes you happy, try to squeeze it into at least some part of your routine during the week, all right? Set boundaries to protect your energy. This is so essential for emotional self-care. Be comfortable with saying no. Some may not like it, and that's okay. There are going to be people in life that you're going to have to say no to. Those are the people that take and 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 give nothing back. That's right. You do not have to take that. Okay? You can set boundaries. You can say, look, you don't have to be mean about it and say, look, I do all this crap for you and you don't do shit for me. You don't have to be like that. You might get that way if you just keep going and going and going and giving and giving and giving while they take. You might hit that breaking point and that can end up bad. Some people don't realize some people don't realize they do that. Believe it or not, some people do not realize they do that. They are so used to getting things in life that they don't realize that they're not giving back. I remember when older sibling was going and taking her HR certificate classes, which, by the way, I owe her an apology because I think she actually was in her 50s, like her very, very early 50s. She started school in her 40s. But we do not know because the answer is on her graduation video on my computer at home on the other computer. But I mean, she obviously should know, but I'm the baby sister. What can I say? Sometimes I just have to put my 2 cents in where they don't belong. But she went to school with a girl named, I kid you not, her name was Princess. That was literally her name, Princess Wright. And I mean, that was her name. And I'm not making fun of her because it is a very unique name. But if you put it together, you're like, wow, Princess Wright. Okay. And so sibling was going to make a sandwich run because I think they were doing groups that night. And sibling was going to make a sandwich run. And so, she took everyone's order. Everyone handed her the money. And she's looking at Princess like, well, hello. And she's like, older sibling started kind of chuckling, and she looks at me and she's like, you know what she says to me? She's like, well, aren't you going to buy it for me? Wow. Just an assumption right there. Well, aren't you going to buy it for me? And I mean, older sibling said everybody in the group was just kind of looking at her like, I think Princess literally got a life lesson in that moment. It's like, no, give me your money. It's like, we're all here so we can start making more money. But I think it was the lesson in there. And at one point, if I remember correctly, older sibling was telling me, she's like, well, I almost bought it for her. And I'm like, no, this is a life lesson. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. But here's the thing. In Princess's defense, she did not know that what she was doing was wrong. I mean, yeah, to you and me, it feels like, wow, it seems pretty obvious and blatant that that attitude was not the correct way to go. But it feels like she had been given so much throughout her life, or maybe she just, I mean, I don't know. Some people are able to just draw things to them. They're able to just be like, well, aren't you going to buy me a drink? Aren't you going to do this? Aren't you going to do that? Whatever. I mean, I've never been in those situations. That's not a pity party. That is just, I've never really been in those situations. So I don't know what that's like. But it is kind of funny to think that sometimes we will sit there and judge. Because I think up until this moment, I probably thought, God, what a brat. What a brat. But now that when I think back on it, I don't think she knew. So here's the thing. If you were giving and giving and giving, and someone is taking and taking and taking, you need to set that boundary. You need to tell them, stop. Okay? Because this is supposed to be whatever kind of relationship it is, friendship, family thing, partnership, relationship, whatever it is. I've had a few friends in my life that were takers. Take. And unfortunately for me is I get to the point where my boundary is literally a wall, and you can keep knocking and maybe I'll answer. And I'm trying to work on that, because the only way to help people like that is to kind of guide them away from that behavior. And it's to do it gently. Just say, you know what? We're always doing this. I'm always taking care of this. If we're going to go out, I think we should pay for ourselves, or I think we should do this, that, or the other. Oh yeah, older sibling just reminded me when, so Prince, I can't remember the context of their conversation, but older sibling told her, she's like, oh, maybe it was about the sandwich. She's like, oh my God, get over yourself. And you know what she responded with? But how? And it's just like, I laugh now and I giggle because it's just so funny the way the conversation plays out. But at the same time, I feel so sorry for this girl because she literally has no clue. And and I'm glad older sibling brought that up, because I totally forgot about that, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. Don't be mean. Not everybody realizes that they're just taking and taking and taking and not giving anything back. They think that their presence in your life is all they need to give. And unfortunately, that's going to be a reality check for some people. And in a way, I think she probably grew from these experiences around them and older sibling, because older sibling did deal. Older sibling used to manage kids and teenagers in the entertainment field when, in her first life, and that was her thing. So she knows how to guide people through. This is why she's helped me so much, because I can be a big child sometimes, and she has taught me and showed me and helped guide me through. Okay, so we're all not very good at setting boundaries sometimes, but there is always a way to set a boundary. All right, you have to figure out what it is that is best for you. If someone has hurt you in your life and they're constantly trying to work their way back into your life, you have to decide if that is what's best for you, if that is what helps you. A lot of people will push people to say, hey, this person's really sorry, this, that, and the other. But there are times when people become so conditioned to false sorries, to people saying, I won't do it again, I promise, I'm really, really sorry about that. And then their behavior keeps going. And I'm not talking about the little things where you're like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, or this, that. I'm talking about the big things. I'm talking about the way people condition one another. There, like I said, there's some big subjects in my life where, people are saying, hey, please give me another chance. But sometimes people have been given so many chances that the person they're asking for the chance from is nervous because they don't want to be disappointed again. It's not about anger. It's about disappointment. Anger is a fleeting emotion. Disappointment, it sticks, it lasts, it stays. Because you are trusting somebody to keep their word. And here they are breaking it again. And when somebody does it over and over and over again, the disappointment meter just keeps going up and up and up to the point where it creates a wall where sometimes people just don't want to be there anymore. They don't want to feel that emotion anymore. Because for a lot of people, it makes them feel stupid. It makes them feel like, oh my God, why did I do this? It causes trust issues. And I don't think a lot of people who are sitting on the outside can understand the kind of trust issues that being betrayed over and over and over again can cause. And I was in a long relationship at one point, and like I said, this person would break up with me and then, just step out. But that's how they alleviated their guilt. They broke up with me. And at one point my mom says, why are you always allowing yourself to be at their beck and call? I know, because I thought it was love. I was dumb. It wasn't. I was in love, but, or what I thought was love. But I didn't see my self-worth. I didn't know how to set my boundaries. And I certainly did not set one in that relationship until finally I'd had enough, And by that point, they're like, at this point, they literally came to my parents' house and said, well, how can you help me get her back? And it was too late, because my disappointment and being disappointed over and over and over again just couldn't give me the opportunity, or them the opportunity, to prove me wrong, that they could be trusted. They had broken my trust so many times, not just from breaking up on me, because they didn't always break up on me to step out on me. And they had broken my trust so many times, I had nothing left. I was tapped out. So if the relationship that you were in with somebody, and I mean across the board, whether, again, it doesn't have to be just a romantic relationship. Whatever relationship you're in with somebody, communicate. Talk to them, tell them, look. And if they get upset and they walk away, then as painful as that can be, it's not always a loss. It's a lesson. Okay? Number 5. Sorry. Give yourself some quiet time. Do what works best for you to gain clarity and understanding of your emotions, or to quiet the monkey mind. Journaling, go for a walk, workout, hobbies, ride a bike, whatever works for you. That kind of goes with understand your emotional needs. Okay, so we're going to tie number 5 into number 3. And last but not least, practice gratitude. That's right. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is the most simple and yet most powerful tool to help you stay focused on the positivities in your life. Even if you are having the shittiest day on the planet, find something to be thankful for. If you're sitting there, I hate my life, I hate my life, I hate my life, this day is crap, it's so stupid, why am I here? Oh wait, you know what? I'm grateful for this purple pen. Does it seem stupid to you? It probably does. But believe it or not, it can actually break your chain of thought of hate, 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 hate. And then all of a sudden gratitude, right? Because then all of a sudden you might start looking at it and say, why would I just say I love this pen or I'm grateful for this pen? Oh, it's purple. Oh, it has the same kind of point. Now, this is just an example for me because I love pens. But it could be anything. You know, I'm grateful for whoever made the coffee at work today, you know, so I didn't have to do it. I'm grateful for the cup that I have to drink this out of, or the specialty coffee that I have, or the Keurig in the back, you know, in the back of the office. You know, all these different things. You know, you can be grateful for the fact that you have a desk to sit at, that you have a job. Not an easy thing to find right now. I'm grateful for the view outside. You know, I'm grateful for the health of the people around me. Once you start picking up on the gratitude, you start forgetting what you're angry about. You stop forgetting, or you don't necessarily forget, but you start shifting the narrative out of the negative and back into the positive. And again, it can be so small, something so small as, I am grateful for this tissue right here because I can feel my nose starting to run. You know, those are the things that we need to focus on. Gratitude. I'm so happy and grateful for, you know, the fact that I have something that I don't like right now. Not everybody has that. Some people are just, they search for anything. We have so much around us. We have so much more than a lot of people have. You know, we have so much more than a lot of other people have. Don't worry about what someone has that you don't have. Think about what you need to be grateful for. The roof over your head, the water coming out of your tap, the cable on your TV, the electricity, the heat, the fire in your fireplace. You know, the fact that you have warm blankets, the fact that you have pets. I mean, fur babies are not inexpensive. They're expensive. They're like children. You know, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with children. What I'm saying is, you know, a lot of people struggle with these things. When you have that moment where you're just like, oh my God, I hate my kids. Think about the people who can't have kids. Think about the people who wanted kids but didn't have any. There's always perspective. Gratitude shifts the narrative and gives you perspective. It shifts you out of the negative and back into the positive. That doesn't mean poof, it's going to be rainbows, sunshines, and unicorns. No, but what you're doing is you are literally stopping the negativity in its tracks so it does not turn into a cycle for the rest of the day. And it, like I said, it could start with as easy as looking down at whatever it is around you and saying, I am so grateful for this. Or, you know, and just keep going. Or, you know, if you're at work and you're sitting there, you know, I'm grateful for my pen. I'm grateful for my paper. I'm grateful for my idiot boss because they show me how competent I really am. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. It's probably not the right thing to say, but if it makes you giggle, then hey, that's also a good thing. Just don't be mean about it, because some people try. They just don't realize they're not very good at what they do. But they try. Okay. And I've had to learn that over the years, that sometimes, you know, people just, and you know, to their credit, it's their confidence. It's their level of confidence. That's what we also need to have. Confidence. Give yourself permission to shine. Give yourself permission to have gratitude, to be grateful for all the things in your life. It's okay. Okay? It's okay to be you. It's okay to be and do whatever it is that you love to do. There's enough negative people in this world. Sometimes people are going to sit there and say, did you literally just say I'm grateful for my pen? And, and that has been a thing. Everybody knew on my desk at work, there were 2 cups of pens. There was the official pen holder from work, and then there was my cup of pens. And I would hunt down my pens if one was missing from my cup of pens. And I would tell people, you can use one from the black holder. Do not touch the pens in my cup. Those are mine. Those are from home. They do not get touched by anyone. The reason I said that is because pens tend to disappear from desks. Cannot tell you how many pens of official work pens disappeared from my desk. Okay, and I just bought these the other day while I was down here visiting my dad and helping him because he had COVID, so now he's struggling to get better. But he's okay. I think there's just that fear now of, because there was a lot of dizziness and craziness happening with it. But if somebody says, literally, did you just say thank you to your pen? Say, yeah, I'm grateful that I have one. I'm grateful that I have a purple one, because not everybody does. So anyways, I know those probably seem like lame answers or lame responses to some people, but you know what? What I'm trying to point out is it's just gratitude. Teasel, I'm grateful for sick time and vacation time. Maybe I'll take a day off. There you are. Take a mental health day. People cannot tell you how to use your sick days. Okay? I'm not saying, call out sick and go traipsing around the world. How many people have called out sick and got caught? But they get caught because they had vacation time and didn't want to use it. But on the same token, it can also be a mental health day. Some people may just need that break. My last example I'm going to give before I close this down is my dad and I were talking. I don't know how long ago, but it was in adulthood. My dad and I were talking, and it was kind of like Shelley confession night for some reason. And I was just like, I just wanted you to know that not every time I asked to stay home from school was I sick. I was just, I was really good at pretending I was sick. I didn't do it very often. But that's exactly what my dad told me. He said to me, you didn't do that often. So I know that if you were that adamant about, just making us believe that you were sick, that you just needed a day off. Because my mom would be like, no, she can get up and go to school. I go to work when I'm not feeling well. He's like, no, just let her stay home. Turns out, later in life, I understood those to be what would actually become known to me as mental health days. Those were the days like when I can't do the perspective. I just had nothing in the tank. And I would stay home, I'd watch TV, I'd get the nibbles, I'd turn up the radio and I'd dance around the house. And it was just, I'd sing at the top of my lungs. It was just a day of reviving myself. Sometimes we can't always handle what life throws at us, especially when you're in high school. And that's mostly where I did it, because in high school, I could, or later in like junior high, I could stay home by myself. But in high school, I was definitely able to stay home by myself. And in grade school, not so much, because the parents have to stay home with you, right? So that's when you knew you were legit sick, because you're just like, oh, I'm dying, I can't go in. But no, and I'm grateful that my father saw that. I am. So don't be shy. Take care of yourself. All right. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tolerating the flipping of the days, right? Self-Care Wednesday ended up on Thursday. But I think these last 2 days are something that are really, really good to think on, especially as we head towards the weekend. When you head towards the weekend, you're a little more open. You're not at your desk. You're not behind sitting pushing papers and stuff. I think you can really take the time then to look at what your triggers might be and to really notice if there's something that triggers you. Or maybe you see it happening in somebody else. Maybe you see it happening in one of your kids. Whatever the case is, remember, you cannot force people to change, but you can guide them. You can help them. You can give them the tools. You can give them, guidance. You can just maybe sit there if that's all they need and just do the their thing and be there for them. Whatever it is, just know that you are capable of doing all these things for others and, most importantly, for yourself. All right. So again, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I will see you back here tomorrow. It's Aloha Friday. Aloha Friday. Aloha Oracle Friday. So if you have anything that you want answered, put it out there and hopefully it will come through. I don't have the normal decks with me, so we're just going to have to kind of wing it and see what happens. But it should be fun anyways. Okay. We'll do some positivity cards. And of course we'll do the traditional Shelley created her own deck. But back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Facebook Live. It is public. Anyone can watch. You can also go to YouTube for the replay, usually up by noon Pacific Standard Time. Click and subscribe, please. One of these days I'll stop begging for that and just say, hey, just click and subscribe, because you know what? I give great messages and you should hear them. So now I'm starting to sound like a car salesman. But anyways, again, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to everybody tomorrow.